definitely the way to go. I mean, Bomber's really under no threat right now whatsoever. The only thing that I think could really happen to him on a harassment point of view is the Slow Overlord drop, which is now available, I believe, for Solar. He actually has an Overlord in position to the right here. He could use it to elevate some Lings into the base. That could be kind of annoying.
Yeah, I think it'll be a bit tricky before Bomber moves out of his base, but it's just so nice because, like, if Bomber has seen a lair with that 2 Hellion run by, like, there's such a myriad of things that you're immediately, like, really worried about. Like, Mutalisks, okay, they're annoying, but maybe there's a Nidus worm, you know, like a Nidus network on the way, or a Roach worm that you didn't see, and then some big Roach Nidus play just kills you because you went for double eBay, you know, and a bunch of barracks that don't have add-ons yet. So, like, those are scenarios where you really need to be careful with your scouting because it can be all or nothing for your opponent. And, you know, fortunately for Bomber this game, it's really much of nothing. He's getting his late lair, he's getting his late Baneling Nest, and he's ahead on upgrades, so this is, so far, so good for him.
Yeah, I'm liking his position a lot more this time. Notice the armory coming up perfectly aligned with 2-2. So he's going to be actually on top of his upgrades this time, which is very surprising not to see Bomber be. You know, the fact that Solar got 3-3 before Bomber did in Game 1 is a travesty. You know, that generally does not happen. Bomber is the upgrade and the macro master. So we're not really sure what happened there. I guess he was just thrown, but this is looking like a much better Bomber game. He's saying, all right, cool. I'm going to build an army on 3 bases, you're going to build your 4th, I'm going to then start to work to kill it, and I'm going to have the forces to do it instead of just throwing what I've got at you and hoping for the best.
Yeah, this is just so Bomber, though. Like, now he loads up his 2 medevacs, but he's got 3 more racks on the way in his main. His armory timing for this 1-1 completing to get his next wave of upgrades is perfect. Like, his armory's done, now his 1-1 is done, he can immediately go to 2-2, and he has all the infrastructure that he needs off 3 bases to just churn out Marines non-stop. Like, this is Bomber to a T. This is exactly how he likes to play. You know, top tier macro, just non-stop pumping out forces, and as long as he doesn't take a terrible engagement or throw these medevacs away, he should be okay this game. I really like his position. Likewise, Solar's creep spread is pretty good though, and he does have a well-timed Baneling speed, so Bomber making a push early on could be really disastrous too if he gets caught out of guard.
Yeah, he's going for it, and it's basically Marines. And
yeah, it's just Marines, mass Marines.
Which we've seen Bomber do before. I mean, right now he actually has a very significant army supply advantage, but there is a huge amount of Banelings coming in, though.
Yeah, and with Baneling speed being done, I'm still, you know, my heart beats still right now, man. This is such a scary position to be in.
How good is Bomber split? Let's find out. He does split against that. Widowmine goes off as well. Bomber's doing a pretty decent job of this, and he's able to push back that first wave of Banelings, and he has more reinforcements rallying across the map. Question is, can he get anything done with this? Yeah, he's fought an army, but can he kill a queen? Can he harass this base? Can he kill some drones?
Yeah, the scary thing is, you know, this is still a 4-base Solar who has that closer base outside of his 3rd that he can also take later on. And if these Banelings just clear up one big wave of Marines, then with the Lings, he could just chase these reinforcements all the way back to the 3rd. Keep in mind, Bomber has no wall at his 3rd at all, so if he loses his army, Solar can chase him all the way back here and possibly just close the game out.
Yeah, I'd like to see him maybe wait for this 2-2 because he does have a nice little timing window that would give him a little bit of an edge, but Look at this creep. He's got to clean some of this up. It's getting ridiculous. And Solar has access to so much map information as a result of this creep, and so many possibilities for maneuvering, and in come a few mutas as well. Managed to squeeze those out.
This is so annoying when you're trying to move all your units out into the center of the map. He's like, man, I'm broke. I barely have this 3rd saturated. Like, I just want to get on another wave of Marines and make a push. But it's like, no, man, you're either going to have to leave Marines at home or build turrets or just lose your workers.
Yep. All right, Bomber's going for this 2-2 push here, and he needs to do damage at this point because Solar is doing a great job of catching up. The army supply for Bomber is insanely high. Like, it really, really is. But there's 44 Banelings, so it's going to come down to Widowmine connections. It's going to come down to how many of the Hellbats and Marauders actually sink some of these Baneling hits.
I mean, this literally just comes down to Marines versus Banelings, which the Banelings should be able to win, but it all comes down, like you said, those splits, and initial engagement not bad yet.
So far, so good. The Marauders ate a lot of that, and it's now 30 Banelings versus 73 Marines. The second wave comes in, Hellbat at the front, and Bomber runs for his life, splits for his life, loses a lot, but honestly, Solar lost more there.
Yeah, he just needs to be able to plow through this next wave of Lings. There's way less Banelings to deal with, but can he target them down? So far, he actually is targeting down all the Banelings individually.
Awesome control here for Bomber. He's finally getting something happening here. Hellbat Reinforced created a big Baneling detonation, but is it enough to stop the relentless push of Bomber across the map? The Mutas, by the way, are devastating the economy behind this, so this is actually Bomber's push. If he doesn't make this happen, then that's going to be game regardless. He's got to keep this up.
He has to win right here. He has no economy back home. It's 29 to 78 workers, and, you know, Solar's still hanging in there just barely.
Solar's trying to cut off reinforcements, I think. There are more Banelings coming in. The Marauders eat most of them. Nicely done.
Those were so nice. I just still don't know, like, how... Like, it's so hard. It's like, how does Solar get rid of this army? But then how does Bomber follow this up? He has to kill him. He absolutely must win the game, like, pretty much in the next minute.
All of his dudes together right now and kill everything. Because, as you said, Solar's economy is still on 75 drones, and we've got only 25 workers here. And mules are good, but they're not that good.
And not that good when you don't have any SCVs to supplement your economy with.
More
the Banelings do finally
the Marauders
get
eat
in.
them. The Marauders eat the vast majority of those, but is there enough from Bomber here? There is! GG, he did it! Bomber.
That's as Bomber as a StarCraft game gets.
You don't get any more Bomber than that.
He just forces Marines down your throat until you choke to death.
It's just true. Please, sir,
doesn't even make sense.
Have some more?
This doesn't make sense. Like, yes, your economy is 4 times bigger than mine. Your upgrades are twice as good. You've killed all my workers, and you have Mutalisks still in my base at this moment. I think I'm going to win this game. It's just like, no, that doesn't usually happen, especially when Bomber didn't kill a single creep tumor all game either. He just walked across creep, like, basically just saying, screw you to the man.
Yeah, he really did. And it worked, you know, I mean, he split well enough. The Marauders were consistently tanking Baneling hits, and you saw those hot pickups. His micro was good. All he needed to do was continue to micro against those Banelings, kill economy, and eventually crush his opponent. I mean, he needed to deal with 5 waves of Zerg to do it, but he had just enough money in the bank, and even with his economy devastated, he was building only Marines, so mules were enough to keep him going, at least for a couple more minutes, and that did the job. So, there you go.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited to see what he does in this next game, since I do feel all these maps favor his style so much more. The pre-splitting is also another very trademark characteristic of Bomber, you know, taking these engagements, but he has all of his bio very well spread out. And you mentioned it, he had the 2 Marauders up front. He constantly poked with the Marauders, leaving the Marines pre-split, and that's just a smart thing that's very easy to overlook, because those Marauders can soak up so many Banelings.
They absolutely can, and they did. All right, folks, Arena will be the next arena for our best of 7 series, which is currently 2-1 in favor of Solar, but still all to play for. Bomber finally proving that, yes, actually, the macro-heavy style is the way to go. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Arena. It's my pleasure to introduce to you Spenu's Bomber, sponsored by Red Bull. He is in the red trunks and he is playing Terran to the west versus his opponent to the other west in the blue trunks, playing Zerg, Samsung Galaxy Solar.
What a series we've had so far. Definitely glad it's not a stomp, that's for sure.
Oh no, yeah.
We had, I mean, some of the series yesterday were just super one-sided, but, you know, in one hand, it's like, okay, you know, the parting series was like, yeah, that was like a really good back and forth, but then you looked at, like, Bomber versus Zest, and it's like, Zest, have you played with the new units yet? Because it looked like Bomber just straight up won because he just made use of Liberators and whatnot, and Zest didn't really throw those Disruptors in there too well. And I really feel like using those combinations of like the Disruptor Colossus for parting was why he almost managed to get out. But still, obviously, when you're playing against possibly the highest rated Terran in Legacy of the Void right now, and Beyond certainly showed that that's pretty much where he stands, that's obviously just going to be difficult no matter how well you play.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit dicey. And honestly, when we look back at those games, parting could have had it. Like, he got extremely aggressive when he shouldn't have. You know, he had a base advantage over his opponent, he had a tech advantage, and yet he kept pushing up into Liberator fields and losing units for no reason. Party could have had that. We could have very easily seen a Protoss And I think that for those saying, well, there's no answer to the liberated composition with Terran, well, Parting said yes, there was. You've just got to control it well, and we still haven't seen it fully explored. Roddy was speculating last night that Tempest is the way to go, and he may very well be right.
Unfortunately, I don't think either of these players this game are going to make any pushes towards Tempest as much as
No, I don't think so. Seems unlikely.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
I'd love to see how they manage to just break the game, and then we get one of those legendary moments where they get vac banned on stream. You know, it's just like someone from Blizzard wakes up and is like, actually, no, this shouldn't be possible. Why are you building Tempest? You're Terran.
Bomber plays unstable portal and summons a carrier, and then just everything goes horribly wrong.
See, now you're speaking my language, man.
Now we're thinking with esports.
This is how we get more people to watch StarCraft, right?
Start a reference card stone, absolutely.
At the beginning of the game, you just have something completely random happen, and then just watch someone just completely lose their shit over how unrealistic the game is now.
Mad Baneling summons 3 random Banelings that charge at random units, including your own.
Yeah,
I'd go with that.
I could dig that, man.
Absolutely.
They give the Baneling like the catapult ability from the Heart of the Swarm campaign, but it's completely random on like what it attacks, including yourself.
That would be pretty brutal. Now, what I'm noticing here is a bit of an interesting change of style here from Solar. Looks like he wants to get pretty aggressive quite early on. He's got 2 gas, and he's building a Roach Warren. And right now, Bomber is on Naked Barracks. He's getting a tech lab up, though, and he does have a bunker, so looks like he may be able to push this back, but I wonder just how many roaches are getting built here. It looks like Solar is saving up his lava. He wants to build 7.
Yeah, I'm thinking that with the gas he has saved up too, he also wants to make this into a big Ravager push, because you do need to save supply. For those of you guys who don't know, like, yeah, Ravagers are strong, but to actually make them, they cost 75 gas, 25 minerals, but they do make your roaches take an extra supply, so you can't just max up on roaches. You do need to have that extra overlord before you can make Ravagers, and I think with Bomber's lack of walling in this series, and now this 3rd command center,
that is not a good thing. Yeah, Bomber's lack of scouting. He
can just die. I mean, just kill him.
He could quite literally die right now. There are no Marauders up. There are a bunch of Marines, and of course there is a bunker, but there's going to be 4 Ravagers here. And Bomber hasn't scouted any of this. He has no idea what's coming. As soon as he sees these roaches, he should immediately cancel his command center and just try and get some Marauders up. But I mean, there's so much stuff already coming in. He manages to dodge most of the Ravager shots. He's on top of one. He's trying to focus the Ravagers down, which I do like.
Well, that's actually really good. Really good focus fire on the Ravagers. Like, he actually has made Solar look a little bit silly here with how he's defended this push with upgradeless Marines.
That said, he has lost a lot of workers in the process. You know, he took some pretty serious economic damage, and Solar did drone behind this. He has no intention of following this up with anything. Combat Shield's about to be done as well, which is going to give him a nice little edge in this fight. And there is now a Marauder. He's actually so confident. He cancelled the bunker. He held onto the command center, so sorry for second-guessing you, Bomber. It looks like you've got this in the bag.
Yeah, I mean, you did make a good point. He lost a lot of SCVs,
yeah, he did.
And this is one of those scenarios where I want to say he's still okay because of the 3rd command center, but we're not playing Heart of the Storm anymore. You know, the Mule doesn't mine as many resources as it used to. For anyone that's you know, that it's unaware, I think it used to be like 270 now, and then they changed it so that it never does that thing where it dies coming home, but it only mines like 220 or 225 minerals now. So it's a pretty big chunk of that income lost.
That is very true. Mules are not as godlike as they once were, but even so, with 3 CCs, I mean, the 3rd hatchery is only just on the way. If Bomber can start producing SCVs 3 at a time, which he's already doing, he's going to catch up pretty quickly.
Yeah, Roach speed though coming into play here, and I feel like this is actually opening the door now for Bomber, because we know that he likes to build siege tanks, and maybe his mass marine style wouldn't work after taking that economic hit, but with tanks he can defend with a lower number of forces. Although I do believe this is going to be still tricky, since without a starport he has no way of picking up and moving those tanks. If Solar would have just come up and dropped like 3 corrosive biles, a tank would just straight up die.
It would be interesting to see that brought into play. It's not something we've seen in the series up to this point, or in the entire tournament. There's still a few tricks that Zerg has that we just haven't had an opportunity to watch in action. I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing a bit of that.
Yeah, taking the 3rd base, I think this is going to be the crucial moment right now for Bomber, because if he can hold on to this, he should be okay, but he's still so far away from Medivacs that these Ravagers they're really making me nervous, because all they need to do is you just click 3 of those corrosive biles on a siege tank, and it's dead. You know, it's gone. Gonzo. Bye-bye. Sayonara. And then the Roaches and Ravagers can just maybe kill the Marines, but Bomber apparently doesn't have any fear of Roaches or Ravagers in this match yet.
Surprising, really, because that seems to be like the only unit that would be coming out. I haven't seen like that many Roaches and Ravagers. There's no way that Solar isn't sticking to that composition for a while. And we might see what you were explaining right there. It doesn't really matter. He ran right on top of that tank, and oh dear, Bomber gets caught out of position. Oh, don't sit there. That would be disastrous. Loses a bunch of units. Needs to pull the hell back right now. It's 87 army supply to 26.
Yeah, I don't know why Bomber actually moved away from his base.
No
the
idea.
Roaches and Ravagers can just move up right now, throwing all those Crucibles everywhere, and they're just completely cleaving this army apart. I think Solar's got this in the bag.
I think he does. GG. That was... Bomber, please scout. Can we just scout? Seriously, like...
He didn't...